GCI turf type tall fescue. It's great seed, right? But what about GCI cool blue? What's the differences? Which one should you pick this fall? Let's talk about it. What's going on YouTube? It is Mr. Ferguson here once again. Thank you guys for coming back for another video here in Central North Carolina, where this is the second video now after our live stream we did this past Wednesday. Thank you to all again who came out. You did kind of show up. I mean, you got online at 7 o'clock. We had some technical issues in the beginning. We had a great time. I was talking after the live stream with Mr. Kevin, Mr. Blake. They loved it. We are already planning to do it again. Many of you have said, Mr. Ferguson, that was great. It was just the boys kicking it, talking about grass and stuff. That's exactly the vibe I got, and I think it was so much better having two other people here to be able to kick the can about, hey, this and that. Today we're getting into a great video, and I know this is one of those videos I was telling the guys, like, sometimes you just do videos and you're gonna know it's just gonna do well because you guys love to talk about seed, because seed choice is a huge deal. Mr. Blake brought that up in the live stream, and that's what we're gonna talk about today. And it's funny he said that because I already had this video lined up thinking it's something that we need to do in preparation for fall overseeding or fall renovation for some of you out there. So, as I said in the beginning of the video, GCI turf type tall fescue seed versus GCI cool blue seed. Which one should you pick if you're doing a brand new lawn this coming September or this coming fall time? You're aerating a new lawn, maybe you're helping your neighbor choose. Which seed should you choose? What are the major differences? I'm not going to get into, well, I read this article that said this, or Pete's always said. I'm going to give you in this video in the next few minutes, I'm just going to give you my personal opinion because I have used both GCI turf type tall fescue and I have used GCI cool blue in my lawn. I've made a similar video comparing some of the GCI to other things, to Jonathan Green and other seeds of that, but I just want to give you a quick, my opinion, Mr. Ferguson, DIY, regular guy, North Carolina, my opinion on the differences between the two. So I think the first thing to point out is that GCI turf type tall fescue seed is zero weeds. The same is true for GCI cool blue. Both of them are fantastic choices. If you go with either of them, you're not going to have a problem with weed seed. That's the first thing that I would say, because both of them, if you look at the label, once you get it, it's going to say zero noxious weed seeds, zero weed seeds in it. You're not going to have any type of risk of when you put out a GCI seed product into your lawn, you're never going to be sowing weeds into your lawn. This is not necessarily the case with other brands. We've kind of talked about that in depth. We're not going to go too much in depth in that, but with GCI seed, both on the cool blue and on the turf type tall fescue, zero weeds in the mix. Not true for other brands. So the choice of seed, as Mr. Blake was saying in the live stream, is very accurate and very true. You can go and say, well, I'm not paying the price, which we'll talk about here in a second. We'll put the prices up over here. Maybe why I say this right here, the price of the seeds. Here you see cool blue on my right. Looking at it, it's my right over here. I hope that's right. And then you see turf type tall fescue. Here's the price of each of them. Now you may be looking at those prices saying, man, that's for a 25-pound bag, and I'll put the 25-pound bag rates here. On my Mr. Ferguson, I can go to Lowe's, Home Depot, Walmart. I can go to Amazon and get seed cheaper than that. You get what you pay for. I'll just tell you that. Go to Walmart, go to Home Depot. Next time you're there with your wife, buying some paint, buying whatever, look at the seed, flip it over, look at the label, look at what's in there, because you get what you pay for. GCI will always have zero weed seed, and I can attest that that is absolutely true, because when I planted it, I never had any weeds come up with my turf type tall fescue. So I am a witness to that, and many people in the channel, many people that follow this channel can attest to that. So it is a little pricey. It may be a little more pricey than what you may see in your local box store, but you are getting zero weed seed in the product itself. So let's talk about visuals. Let's talk about what it looks like. GCI turf type tall fescue versus GCI cool blue? Well, first of all, I think it's, you know, if you're like totally new to this of like, what are you talking about? The turf type tall fescue is 100% turf type tall fescue. It's a blend of 3 different cultivars that are just turf type. It's tall fescue, but it's turf type. It's not the thick wide blade like you may see on some Kentucky 31. It's a thinner blade. It's recommended to mow between 3.5 and 4.5 inches, where on the cool blue side you've got 85% turf type tall fescue in the product, but you have 15% Kentucky bluegrass, and that's the big factor there. That's why it's called a whole different name, cool blue, because you've got that factor of the cool blue of that Kentucky bluegrass in there. And Kentucky bluegrass, we'll talk about the water part in a minute, but you've got a difference in 100% turf type tall fescue but versus 85 turf type tall fescue, but you've got 15% of that being Kentucky bluegrass, which makes a difference visually in the looks. I will personally tell you, all day, every day, the cool blue wins. When I put that in my lawn, I've showed you guys some of the pictures forevermore on this channel. You've seen it when we planted it. It just looks visually absolutely stunning and amazing, and just the greenest, just that 15% does a difference in the blend. It makes a difference. You may not think it makes a big difference. Visually, it makes a difference. The turf type tall fescue looks great. That's what I currently have basically in my whole backyard. We got some spreader elite, which is a whole nother topic, but my whole backyard, side yard is turf type tall fescue. You guys have seen some of the aerial shots I've done with my drone. It looks phenomenal. It looks magnificent. However, I think the cool blue is just a touch better. That 15% of that Kentucky bluegrass, that different bluer, greener shade of green that it provides to your lawn makes a difference. And when I had it in my lawn, man, it was just looking some kind of good. I don't know how else to describe it to you. So visually, I would give the #1 gold medal to cool blue, but I would give the second to the turf type tall fescue. They both look great. You can't go wrong once again with either one, but I would say the cool blue definitely wins the visual test in my opinion. So you may be saying, well, Mr. Ferguson, you're sitting here, you're going to tell us that cool blue looks so phenomenal, it looks so much better, you would pick that over turf type tall fescue. Then why the heck do you have turf type tall fescue right now in your backyard and in your side yard? If you're talking so highly about how great cool blue looks, why do you have the turf type tall fescue in your lawn? Great question. And the reason is the water requirements. With the turf type tall fescue, you are going to have to water it roughly about 1.5 inches per week, especially during the summer times. I'm in North Carolina. We get brutal heat. Georgia, Tennessee, Southern Virginia. Some of you guys, you know what I'm talking about. You're in the general vicinity of where I am. It does take, the tall fescue can take a beating and keep going for a good while before it begins to brown up and try to go dormant. With the cool blue, oh my goodness, I can tell you Mr. Blake, he's like, amen, he learned as well. With the cool blue, with that Kentucky bluegrass, it takes almost twice as much water for the cool blue, for the Kentucky bluegrass cultivars in there, than it does for the turf type tall fescue. So if you're in when it gets hot, Bermuda does well here in central North Carolina because of how hot it gets, how humid it gets, and Bermuda does well for about 5 or 6 months here. Well, during that time, obviously the cool season grass like fescue, you have to keep it watered. We're keeping the CK on it, and we talk about all those videos, and we're keeping it alive, and we can survive because we've done it. But with the cool blue, it is extremely hard. Pete is over there in a little bit northern, a little bit higher elevation over there, but he can tell you it takes a lot of water. It can take a lot of water to keep that stuff alive and keep it kicking. So there is a higher water expectation from Kentucky bluegrass and with the cool blue than there is with the turf type tall fescue. If you're someone that is planting a new lawn in a subdivision where you're on city water and your rates are continuing to go up and you're spending a lot of money watering your lawn, I would caution you with the cool blue. You're going to be watering it more if you want it to stay looking good year round. It costs way more water. Be prepared for that. With the turf type tall fescue, it can take a little less water and keep on ticking and look good for longer. So that's why I have the turf type tall fescue in my lawn. Cool Blue, Kentucky Bluegrass in general, regardless of the brand that you buy, Jonathan Green, anything, it always wants more water when it's hot outside. So the last thing I'll mention, which goes to the corner of the Cool Blue, is the lateral spreading capabilities of Kentucky Bluegrass. You do have that 15% that's mixed in with the 85% turf type tall fescue in the Cool Blue product. And as we know, if you don't know, Kentucky Bluegrass slowly, not as fast as Bermuda, but Kentucky Bluegrass has spreading capabilities. So where there may be little gaps here and there, slowly over time, Kentucky Bluegrass has the ability to laterally spread, and which is not the case for turf type tall fescue. Turf type tall fescue, you plant it grows, and there's no spreading capabilities in the GCI or any just straight up turf type tall fescue product. So that is an added benefit to the Cool Blue product, which is pretty cool. So if you do have some thinning in areas, over time, overseeding Cool Blue, you've got the spreading capabilities of the Kentucky Bluegrass there. That's the same Kentucky Bluegrass that may be in Jonathan Green seed or any seed. Now we will throw in a third option if you're like, man, that's cool, but man, I'm on city water, Mr. Ferguson. I hear what you're saying about trying to keep the Kentucky Bluegrass watered. I just don't know that I can commit to that with our budget. There is a spreading fescue grass that Pete sells called GCI Spreader Elite. I put it in my lawn back here when I had a washout of my turf type tall fescue. I quickly got some Spreader Elite. I put it back here. Now, can you visually see it spreading in your lawn like a vine? No, that's silly, right? But it does have, they've taken the lateral spreading characteristics of Kentucky Bluegrass and engineered it in tall fescue. And so GCI Spreader Elite may be an option if you want something that's just 100% fescue, very heat and drought tolerant, but it does have that spreading capabilities slowly over time. If you continue to overseed and use that product, that does exist on the market, and it's 100% weed free, just like Cool Blue, just like turf type tall fescue. So that is a third option if you want to go that route. Again, we'll close it with that. You are the homeowner. You make your own decisions. I have been more than pleased with the GCI products that I've used in my lawn. If I could have a well here at my home, I would 100% have Cool Blue in this lawn, without a doubt, 100%. If I could give that bluegrass the water that it needs, being out in the country, being up north where it's cooler temps, and also having the water to be able to supply it with, then I would do it. That's why we're trying it at our lawn project up at the church. We're doing Cool Blue there. Why? Number one, just to play around. Number two, we have a well at our church, so we're able to water as often and frequently as we want to. But when the heat comes, we want to provide the grass the water that it needs. We'll be able to provide it that at the church with the well. Can't do that so much here at my home. It costs an arm and a leg. So these are some of the factors. We've talked about it in the past on the channel, but I wanted to compare the tall fescue with the Cool Blue specifically, and then you do have the Spreader Elite as a third option. But I hope this helps somebody out there that's trying to make that decision. They stumble upon this video. This is just a regular homeowner DIY guy's opinion. I'm not a professional, but I have used both products in my lawn, and it's noticeable when you're in a hot heat area like North Carolina, central North Carolina, and you put Cool Blue on the bank by the road, man, it needs so much water. It was struggle bus. It was real struggle bus. So having the turf type tall fescue helps me a lot. It's still, I have to get out here and drag sprinklers. I don't have irrigation, but it's able to sustain some of this pounding, brutal heat in North Carolina better than the Cool Blue. So I hope that helps somebody out there in their decision making. For those of you that's heard this 1,000 times, we just need you to give the video a thumbs up. Comment below, maybe something that I missed that's another factor. Let people know down below. Check out channel memberships. Give the video a thumbs up. Check out the super thanks, all that. We're gonna, again, just if you missed the first part and you skip, we're gonna try another live stream in September. So be checking out. Tune in for that. We'll schedule it ahead in advance, and I'll make sure I can get my panel on board with that as well. God bless you guys. Hope you've enjoyed this. Another looking towards fall type video. We'll have another product we're going to be doing on Friday, hopefully. So tune in for that one. God bless you. We'll see you next time.